So, how is it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today we're going to be doing a first impressions look at the final station. So this came out late last year, so it's going on a year now that this game has been out. It came out on August 30th, 2016, but the reason it sort of popped up again on my radar recently is because there was a DLC that was recently released for it a couple of months ago, and I always meant to get around to reviewing it or playing it. And it never really happened, but so now we've finally done it. I've been playing it for about 4 hours now, and I think I have a fairly decent understanding of a lot of how the game works, so we're going to work off of that premise. So here I am. I'm this little character you can see here in the center of the screen. I can move around the screen using the WASD keys. Actually, it's just A and D, because you only move from side to side. It's a side-scrolling kind of horizontal platformer. And in this situation right here, I actually need to go ahead and get my key code. So there's my key code and talk to this dude. So here we have a little bit of the narrative that's going on. And the reason I needed my key code, as you can see, it's stored in the bottom left corner. And I need to enter it in here manually so I can use this train again. So I'm a conductor, and every time I get to a new station, there's going to be a little scenario that I have to play through before you can get on the train again and go to the next station. And that is sort of hidden behind this wall of these access panels. There is sort of a narrative element to the game that explains why the access panels exist. It is an overextension of bureaucracy, essentially, but it serves the purpose of stopping you from just traveling around the world in the train, right? So let's finish inputting that number, and we'll all aboard the train, right? So then, here we are on the train. You'll see the train pulls away, and then we're given a brief segment where I'm in charge of maintaining everything on the train, so making sure the passengers are happy. Here we are on the train. We have one passenger at the moment, so the demands are not nearly as high. And then there are also several elements on the train, like right here, this thing. I have to keep this under control. Now, this is one that I haven't seen before. So these are like little mini puzzles. And the problem is, if you let them get out of control, what will happen is they'll stop your train eventually. And then there's also some narrative structure to the story that the characters that are sitting inside your passenger coach will sort of drop on you. So I actually have to figure out how this one works. So let's see, like that. Okay, apparently whenever you see that bouncing line go across, whenever it hits the little red dot, then I need to click this little target icon, and then we've balanced it out and gotten back to normal. Okay, in addition to those things, we also have food, so I have to feed my passengers food, and we also have medicine. So if my passengers are injured, I need to go and grab some med kits from there, and then haul it all the way over here and give it to my passengers. As you can see right here in the passenger stats, they have health and they have hunger. If those drop all the way down, they are dead. In addition to this, here we have my info panel, and apparently somebody is online that wants to talk to me. It's a machinist, and here we get another little bit of a lore drop. How was it? What are you talking about? You passed the border and you're still replying. This means you have passed through something for sure. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Tom told me strange things. He didn't come back. I'm fine. We are okay, whatever. It goes by quick sometimes, but I have arrived at my destination. So just one thing before we actually get to the destination, I wanted to point out, here we can craft our medicine kits as well as some ammo right there on the train. Or also, this is where you can find out where you are currently on the track. Okay, we arrived. Let's blow the whistle and depart the train itself. So that kind of sums up what a lot of the train ride itself is about, and the rest of the majority of gameplay is actually focused around running through these stations that you arrive at, because right here you can see I need a code. I don't have a code. I've got to go into the station and find a code, right? So the overall number of things you need to know about the game to actually use it are fairly limited. We can switch weapons here by pressing tab. You have a pistol or a revolver, I'm not exactly sure which, and then you have the shotgun. So right now I'm using the pistol. It's the gun I've upgraded the most, and we have to go through these stations and take a look at and see what sort of happened and try to find the key code to get out of here again and continue on our journey. So from time to time, you'll find stuff inside lockers. You really couldn't see what was in there, but most likely they were ingredients that I could use to craft additional medicine kits while on the train, or they could be stuff like ammo, or they could be medicine kits, food kits, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see here, side-scrolling, kind of nice pixel art stuff going on. And we're going to just try to clear these houses out. There I got some pills. Those can be used to craft med kits. Here we have another lore drop. So this is a lot of how the story is told. I personally like it because it sort of encourages you to figure out the story's narrative for yourself. So they'll drop you little hints from time to time, often in the form of correspondence between people in the game's world itself, rather than having these huge lore dumps where a character will approach you and then they'll just talk to you verbatim for the next 5 minutes. With these little lore dumps here, a lot of the time it's left up to the player to sort of piece together what exactly went on at this place. So in this case, this is Amanda. If this guy from the train station comes again, don't give him firewood. We have very little left for ourselves. So I imagine they're talking about me. I could be wrong, could be just a little bit arrogant there. But apparently they don't want to let me have any firewood. So let's continue clearing these houses. Oh, and we have our first enemies. So these are the enemies that you'll see in the world, and they're basically human. They're like zombies. Like if we're going to be honest, they're basically another form of zombies. But they don't really treat them in the game like zombies. They say they're simply infected by, I believe it's some sort of carcinogen in the air. So. We found some stuff, got some money. Ooh, that guy is bad news. So that is one of the zombie creatures that actually blows up when you shoot it. So I don't think there's any way I can get out of this without getting hurt to some extent. So we might just want to leave him. It would be nice to see what was in that door, though. There was something up there. So like if I wanted to, I could try. Maybe just for the fun of it. Let's go ahead. Nope, I missed. Okay, we'll do better this time. I've got my cursor pointed in the right direction, right? Let's climb up the ladder, shoot him, and I got hurt. So yeah, that deducted about half of my health. And here we get, it says how to make a tie-in pipe. So apparently there wasn't anything all that interesting up here. I don't think this is of any value to me because I've never actually used one. There are some puzzles in the final station, but by and large, it's a lot more like what you just saw here, thinking rather tactically about how to dispatch the enemies and then sort of trying to patch together the story while at the same time trying to find the key code. So we're hurt a little bit. I can use a med kit by pressing Q to go ahead and heal, but at the moment I'm not hurt enough where I think that makes a difference, although that could change relatively quickly. So right now we're using the gun a lot. Okay. See if I can get a headshot in this zombie guy, and I'm out of ammo. So that is a big concern. Ammo is limited. Let's try to use the shotgun on this guy because I can't punch him to death. A lot of the enemies you can punch to get to death. The guy in the body armor, you cannot. You can knock his helmet off, but you cannot punch him to death, unlike all the other enemies. So I wasted a lot of my ammo. I'm completely out of ammo on the handgun, which is a shame because it's valuable to me. So instead we're going to be punching. We're going to charge up by holding the right mouse button, and then we're going to let him have it. That guy looks big. That guy does look big. I wonder if I can actually take him out by hand because he looks bigger than normal, I will admit. Come on over here. Yeah, he's bigger. He's bigger, all right. We're going to take multiple hits to actually bring him down, I'm betting. So this is the first time I've actually encountered this creature. Okay, yeah, two hits, bring him down, 2 supercharged hits. And here we go, how to protect your pipes. So that's interesting, those books keep popping up. But I've never seen a use for them. Here we can pick up the toilet. We can throw everything in the kitchen sink at enemies that we come across. So I might as well keep that in tow, and we'll continue to explore these buildings. So what I can do with this toilet that I picked up is I can throw it at enemies. Very effective, actually, believe it or not. It kills them in 1 hit. There you go. But this enemy is not going to be killed in 1 hit. So let's charge it up. So the great thing about this is if you have ladders in your area, you're relatively safe. So like I can charge my punches here on the ladder, drop down, give him a punch to the stomach, a gut shot, and that's how that works. So here we have a little manhole cover. That's where we're going to be going down. There was some pistol ammo in that bin, so let's go ahead and reload our gun. We can press R to reload it, much like you would in any standard shooter. What does this say? It says, went to fight, will be back late. I have the key. Buy some beer for the evening. So this is what I really like about the final station is the lore drops are relatively short. They don't, it's not going to take me 5 minutes to read, you know, an entire chapter of what happened here. The game is purposefully vague, and I think it works really well. Oh, we have another body-suited, armored zombie. So let's punch him, and then try to headshot him. There we go. That's the best approach for those because you can't shoot them while they have the headgear on, and you can't punch them after you punch them the first time. So that's the best way to dispatch them. Oh, we have a TV here. So let's see if we can throw this TV at something dangerous, preferably. No. What do we got here? Another little lore drop. Seems like there is something in Midgar. If not, I'll check it. I'll check on the old man in Ristal. No news so far. So those are some references to things that have been going on. Oh wow, that almost did kill me. That's a reference to some things that have been going on in the past. As you might be aware, the story is linear, so the narrative is actually more important in some ways than the gameplay, but at the same time, it's not overbearing. Okay, so let's go ahead and heal. Pull out my med kit by pressing Q, and there we go. We got one med kit left, so we have a little bit of leeway here. I actually wasted too many of my med kits trying to get a passenger on the train to survive all the way back home, when I should have just let him die at this point. The answer to my research was so simple that I still cannot believe I found it. They are crossing the strings. Genius. How else could they traverse such a distance and come here? Communications issues, additional evidence. Okay, this proves one more thing. It's impossible being in one location of the universe to cross the strings in two different spots. Therefore, they will appear in the same place as before, the canyon area in the west. So what they're talking about there is the alien whatevers. You can bust windows by pressing the hit button. But the aliens are trying to figure out how to defeat them. So they have some scientists working on it and whatnot. And apparently that was a bit of an info dump right there. Some scientist who was occupying this area had realized or figured something out. So, but there's no telling if he managed to convey it to the other scientists. So here we have another example of a lore drop where we have a conversation between a couple of people. The camera on the first floor stopped working. It says person one, person number two, whatever. She wasn't that hot anyway. How much have you filmed? Person number one, about 300 hours, but still need to edit the best parts. Person number two, not bad. Come by to pick it up later. Pick it up tomorrow. So it sounds like somebody was doing some illicit snooping or surveillance on somebody. I'm not exactly sure how that plays into the overall narrative so far, but it is one of those things that you just get to piece together, which I think is really quite nice. Oh, here we have found another survivor. Stay still. Do you promise? Okay. And she will probably be joining me on the train now. So as you can see, like, you don't have to worry too much about being bogged down in a lot of text. It manages, you know, there is a lot of story to it, but it manages to keep it concise to the point where it doesn't really interrupt the flow of the gameplay I found. So person number one says, I covered the camera. Person number two, why do you need a camera in your bedroom? Who is the owner of this place? Some pervert? Person number one, I don't know, but the rent is low. So yes, apparently there we actually found the person that we saw before was being snooped on. So some interesting lore there. Oh, we have another big guy, another brute. Sock him in the gut once. No, help! I've died. He can stun you. If he hits you, he stuns you. That's the first time that's ever happened to me, where they actually stun you. But as you can see, like, the checkpoints in general are fairly generous enough. We didn't get set back too far, so even if you do die, you know, it's not meant to be a roguelike game where you're going to pay a stiff penalty for it. Oh, that was the problem. I couldn't actually move up that ladder, apparently. Yeah. I just don't know what that was about. Apparently I was doing something wrong. And then you'll notice there's a little bit of recharge time before I can use that mighty punch again. Okay, he's down. We took a bit of a beating for it, though. I will admit. It's not the most desirable. But ammo is of limited supply in this world, so I don't want to unnecessarily waste it. Although you could make the case that, well, since you're not harshly penalized for dying, you might as well just keep the pace of the game going, right? I don't know. It could go either way. What was this? Seems like there was something in... Okay, we already read that. So how do we get out of here? So I didn't manage to spot the way out. Okay, I think we go up on top of the building here. And then we can get out from there. Yes, we'll drop down along here. And we took a beating. We took a beating. Come. Let me hit you. Yeah, so we probably should heal now. Down to my last med kit. Hopefully I'll be able to craft some more when we get back on the train. And I found some more pistol ammo, which is always useful. And then I won't have to make as many risky moves, right? And these guys are fast, which is why, in general, I just shoot them. They're too fast for me. And then we can pick up a chair and use that to throw it at them. Ah, no, I missed. Let's throw a TV at him. No! I forgot what to press to throw the TV. Okay, we'll get it this time, I promise. I have a hunch there's something important in this house, so we want to make sure we get it. There we go. Didn't take too much damage from that. Oh, look. A band. A guitar and some drums. There we go. Okay. This guy should be easy. Apparently there wasn't a whole lot up here. There was some food, though. No med kits, though, which was actually what I was looking for. Oh, yeah, that we actually needed to go up there to get to the other side of this house. So that was necessary to do. Found some scraps, gunpowder handouts. And let's see what's down here. There are rats that run around, but they're not a problem. Not a threat. And no entry on that paper. So as you might be aware, we are looking for the key code once again at this station, and then we'll be able to get back on our train. And we found a med kit, so that's pretty useful. Pills, rags, some food and clothing. And we have another one of these zombies, the armored ones. Let's get a headshot. There we go. Don't have any ammo left. Ooh, we got some brutes here. So these guys might be a little bit tricky to deal with. I would like to shoot that guy that's in the back. He will explode, and that would actually cause the rest of them to die as well. So if we can lure enough of them in, this might be a possibility here. We'd be able to kill them all off in one shot. But probably not. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult this time because I can't charge up while holding onto these ladders. So I think in all, this is probably a good place to leave it. I think this demonstrates a lot of what the final station is about. It's about sort of clearing these levels in a strategic way. It is about picking up these small little lore dumps and piecing together the bits of the story, because you're not sort of just inundated with a whole lot of information by one character or whatever. If you think about, you know, narrative structures like in BioShock, where you picked up audio logs from time to time that sort of, when pieced together, explained the story that was going on in the background. That's sort of what you have here, and I think it's a very compelling method to tell a story in a game that I actually approve of, because one of the things I don't like about a lot more modern games is there are just too many cutscenes where they take control away from the player in order to tell them a story, and I think that just drags the flow of the game down a little bit too much. So that's what I especially liked about the Final Station. Was it was one of those more story-driven games that was actually well paced. It didn't take too much agency away from the player in the process of telling the story. And at the same time, it wasn't too vague to the point where you just feel like you have no idea what the hell is going on. So, yeah, that is the Final Station. I like it so far. Like I said, I've only been playing for about 4 hours, and I'm probably about 33% done. But so far, my overall impression of it is quite positive. So thank you very much for watching, as always, and I hope to see you next time.